Hi and welcome. In this video, we'll briefly talk about using PowerPoint to better enhance your student engagement. What can you do to help your students better process that valuable information you'd like to share? Let's take a look. There are a couple of things I want to point out about the all-in PowerPoint before we jump in. First, I want to encourage you to think about user experience. What does that mean? Well, it's a design term, and if you recall from speaking with our instructional designers, effective instruction is designed instruction. The principles of design and instruction overlap because they're both about communication. So for us, that means before you begin your presentation, you want to consider how your students are going to experience your presentation. How can we craft an experience that's going to help them better understand the information you'd like to display? Now here are some examples of information that's presented clearly and concisely. These statistics aren't real, they're just here to make the point. The first thing you want to keep in mind is that you are the presenter. Your PowerPoint is not. This is just your visual aid, which means you can be more strategic about how much information you display here, or don't. You want to use your PowerPoint to reinforce your key concepts. What do you want your students to take away? Put that here. How do you want to build up to your takeaway? That's what you can tell them yourself. Now you want to make sure that you're using the all-in PowerPoint in its proper dimensions, 16 by 9. This is a standard ratio for most TV screens and monitors. This will ensure that you have more room in your slide deck with which to work, and that images like the WashU logo won't become distorted. The all-in PowerPoint is set to this ratio by default, but if you find that it's changed up on you, you can find that option right up here in the top corner. Change that back. Next, you'll notice that this particular PowerPoint is set up with fairly large text for the body and fairly small text for the headers. That may seem counterintuitive, but that's intended to draw your students' eyes to your key concepts at first glance. Take a look at your own PowerPoint presentations and ask yourself these 3 questions. What jumps out to me first? What do I wish jumped out to me first? How long does it take me to read all the information that I have displayed on any given slide? Answering these questions can help you to hone your information. You don't want to compete with yourself. If your students are reading paragraphs, they're probably not listening to you. You can always deliver a fuller, more text-heavy PowerPoint to your students as a handout if you'd like, but your presentation should be pared down to promote the ease of comprehension. Think first impressions. You want to make the content as easy to digest as possible. Your headers are generally reference points for the key concepts that you really want to reinforce. If you do want to call special attention to them, try a title slide. This will help indicate every time you change topics. Then, when you get into your informative pages, your key concepts can really take the stage. Next, where should you place your images? Well, consider the rule of thirds and the golden ratio. When laying out your information, you want to guide your students' eyes to the natural flow of your information as you share it. Imagine dividing your slides into segments of thirds. When you place information or images within these intersecting points, it reads more pleasingly to the eye and eases your user's experience. Now, the last thing I'd like to talk about in this presentation is PowerPoint's viewing modes. There's Slideshow View and Presenter View. These can be toggled between using the options up here or down here. Presenter View is optimal if you have a second monitor, and here's why. In this view, which is your single monitor view, PowerPoint assumes that your presentation is being displayed on a separate monitor from the one you're working on. So, you'll get this speaker notes view where you can control the slides. Meanwhile, your slide deck presentation is on display on your second monitor. If you only have one monitor, you'll only see your notes page. Now let's say you're working on a laptop or a tablet and you open up your presentation and your slide deck shows up on the wrong screen. You'll know it's on the wrong screen because you can see your 2 screens. So instead of your students seeing your slide deck, they see your pages full of notes. How do you swap your monitors? Well, that's an easy fix. If you fly up here into your control toggles, simply click Swap Displays, and your PowerPoint presentation will swap monitors for you. If you're wondering which computer to record your audio into, use the one that's recording your Zoom session. So when you have 2 display monitors, your notes page shows up here, and the screen you're sharing shows up here. But let's say you open your presentation up and you select Presentation View, but you realize that you don't have a second monitor, so you don't want to use this display mode. What do you do then? Well, if you're already in Presenter View, go ahead and click this little Use Slideshow button. This will switch you into a slideshow view. Slideshow View works great if you're only working with a single monitor or a single screen. In this mode, your students and you will see your slide deck full screen. So that's it for now. The simple thing to remember is user experience. How would you experience your presentation? What would you remember from it? When you ease your user's experience, it helps relieve some of the friction that's inherent in learning, and it can help to create better access to the valuable content you're trying to share. Thanks, and see you next time.